Welcome to Coach's Corner Cafe fans. Thanks for joining me on a Tuesday afternoon this week. We didn't have school yesterday, so I brought the kids in a little bit early and took care of that while the teachers were at in-service day. So we took care of some of our lifting and conditioning before the other coaches got here. So today we're going to review last week's Delphos St. John, preview New Bremen, and a couple a spotlight with Tiff, our trainer, and then a shout out to a few of the special teams guys. And so a little bit different mix up there. So first of all, the last week we had a good week of junior high, freshman, JV, and high school football. We all won last week. The junior high, we played Delphos. The 8th graders played a combo 7-8 Delphos team, and then I believe it was South Adams from Indiana came in and played our 7th graders, and they got to play under the lights, I guess, because they were a little further away. And our 7th graders won that game. And they're a pretty good squad there. They have lots of players, lots of good athletes. Freshmen won yesterday versus New Bremen, and the JVs did not play last week against Delphos, so they had the week off. Fortunately, the last couple weeks they played in the second half quite a bit versus Parkway and Delphos. So the Delphos game, the score ended up 52-7. Unfortunately, like I talked about pre-game with Coach Schulte and his squad, with all their injuries, just our wounded team coming in, so to speak, and so we got off to a really good start, or I guess you could say maybe they got off to a rough start. They hiked a snap over the quarterback's head, and we scored a touchdown real early in the game. And so we got 3 early scores and kind of cruised into half with 31, and then the second half we got a couple scores, and so again, unfortunately for Todd and his squad, just so beat up, and they don't have a lot of numbers, so that their young guys, their backups are really young guys, so it really makes it difficult, when you're playing. Playing teams that have good numbers and good backups. So good win for us. Maybe at this point, most importantly, we stayed healthy. So all our guys are feeling good, and hopefully we can get our defensive our nose guards back here in 3 or 4 weeks, and can make it back to the playoffs. And our long snapper Bennett Spriggs did not play last week. He hurt his shoulder up at Lima Senior in the JV game, but I think he's going to practice this week, and hopefully he'll be ready to go on Friday. So we play New Bremen this week. Coach Schmidt has done a really good job over these since he's been there. I'm not sure, 5 or 6 years approximately, with 1 or 2 state titles in there. And so they've done a really good job. They are 4-3 at this time. They beat a good Bath team early in the season, and they've had they've lost a couple tough games in the league, but they're dangerous. They have a 2 tight end wing kind of offense, but they're also willing to throw it down the field. They do have a sophomore quarterback whose brother is their best receiver, so he'll throw it up to his brother, and their running back is a good athlete. So they can mix it up pretty well with a I guess old school semi wing T, shotgun wing T kind of offense, but also not afraid to throw it. Defensively, they are a 3-4 team with 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, but their outside linebackers are close to the line, and one of those guys typically is gonna be coming off the edge somewhere, and they do like to blitz a little bit. They're they're willing to play man coverage, so they're pretty stout up front, offensively and defensively, and so we feel like we've got our work cut out for us. This is a senior night. this is senior night, also dad's night, which is one of my favorite nights of the year, where the dads come in pre-game and post-game. Hopefully for a celebration post-game. I guess we'll see what happens, but that's always a good night. Good night for our dads to come in and see how we kind of operate and do things. And so New Bremen is going to come to town on Friday to Coldwater. And so we're looking forward to that challenge with the Cardinals and see what we can do. Senior Spotlight. Again, we're getting close to the end of the list there with number 56, Noah Welsh, and 74, Tyler Jones. Like I mentioned earlier, one of our nose guards, Noah, is injured right now. He broke a bone up there close to his fibula on the outside of his, just a little below his knee, about 4 weeks ago, and so he's out of his boot and he's walking around, but there's certain movements that he just can't quite get past. So hopefully in a few weeks he'll be back. Noah is a nose guard, and I guess he would have been a backup lineman, but mainly he was our nose, just a stout, 5 foot, 5'7", 215 pounds, a little fire plug. Noah and I go way back to the junior high days. Interesting relationship with Noah. We have a lot of fun teasing each other and getting on each other, and he's grown up a lot over the last 5 or 6 years, 4 or 5 years that I've known Noah, and proud that he's sticking with us and was having a really good year, unfortunately, with this injury, but hopefully he'll get back and in the playoffs and really help us out later. Tyler Jones, 74, was a starting guard last year, and we have moved him back to tackle. He also plays is a backup defensive end, but mainly he's our right offensive tackle, and doing really well. He did a good job in the weight room last winter and gained about 25 pounds probably, and got up to about 235. Unfortunately for him, he missed a week. He got really sick, and we were kind of concerned that he might have mono. So he missed a week and lost about 15 of those pounds, but hopefully he's gaining a little bit of that back. I think he's probably at 215, maybe 220 right now. Real long, 6'4", long arms, and he does a really good job with his pass protection, and we keep working on his run game, blocking, and he's doing a really good job for us. So this is a side note, I guess, but every Tuesday morning, the linemen and myself and Coach Hewer come in for what we call Donut Tuesday, and so we always watch the end zone camera, and that really gets up close to our up close to the linemen, and we can just see everything. We see their steps, see their everything that they do, and they can see it really clearly. And this morning, when we had it versus the Delphos game, really good week for the O lineman technique wise, which is really important. Each week we try to pick something for them to work on that maybe they can do a little bit better. So Tyler was one of those guys that last week we really I kept him, or took him and a few of the other O linemen during the individual D period just to practice a few things, and it's really satisfying to see guys carry that over into the game. So good for Tyler. So Tyler and Noah, right? Our senior spotlight, and then next week, Will Berry will be number 78. Will be our last guy, and I'll come back and talk a little bit about Kale and mention Kale because he would have fit in this week. Support staff, Tiffany Richling has been our trainer now for, I think 10, 11, 12 years. And so Tiff has done a really good job over the years, and she's not only obviously our trainer, but the school's trainer, and with all the sports, and man, she puts in so many hours. She'll help out and sub when needed also, but really on top of things with her job, and she's bounces from place to place. Last week we had, we could have 3 or 4 different contests in one day, and sometimes all those at home. So we could have a JV game, and then we have we had a big cross country meet last week, so she was here all day for that. And then she'll have volleyball and cross country and soccer, and she always is there for football, which is much appreciated, and takes care of our guys. And in the olden days, the coaches would tape ankles and ice guys down and I guess semi-diagnose things, but she does a really good job and has over the years taken this job and taken it seriously, and she really enjoys it and likes being with our kids, and our kids like her. And so Tiff, thanks for all that you do for our kids. And then shout out to our special teams kickers and long snappers. So for at the varsity level anyway. So Bryce Couchot is our kicker this year, and he's doing an excellent job. He has, I think, 4 field goals now. He made a 44-yarder last week. And his kickoffs, his greatest improvement this year has been his kickoffs. He's a junior, and so last year he was a little guy, weight-wise anyway. And so we asked him, hey, make sure you're working on your kickoffs, as we progress through the summer and even in the spring sometimes. And so I think he's up to between 15 and 20 touchbacks, and we always talk about if we can make a team go 80 yards, we can usually get them stopped. So Bryce is our kicker and PAT field goal kicker, along with kickoffs, and he's also our backup punter. Bennett Spriggs is a sophomore, and he's our long snapper, and he was last year. So the good thing is we get Bryce and Bennett both back. Bennett is also a linebacker and a tight end wing kind of guy, and maybe next year we'll kind of see how things go. Maybe move down into the O-line spots, but he is a really good long snapper, and we have had some good ones over the years, and he's right there with those guys, and so you can always count on him. He did it last year and certainly this year, and of course we got him for 2 more years, so that's awesome to have a long snapper that you can really count on. And then Owen Kunk, which you have not seen him much this year, punting wise, just because we haven't punted very much. But Owen is a defensive end for us and tight end when we use 2 tight ends, and he's been punting really well when he's had to, but fortunately, I guess we haven't had to punt much. So the special teams in general, just a briefing each week. Mark Bruns and I. Mark's our D coordinator, and he and I run the special teams, and so we on Mondays we overview what the other team does. Tuesdays and Wednesdays we do 2 each. Tuesdays is kickoff and punt, and Wednesdays is kickoff return and punt return and block, with field goal thrown in after team offense, and then on Thursdays we review them all shortly on the game field and just do a couple of each. And I every week I talk to the players about impressing how important our special teams are. And so I went back and I looked at all of our games this year, and we're averaging 23 kicking plays per game. And so I try to convince those guys that are on there, if they're not already a full-time starter offensively or defensively, you're a starter. And you've had 23 plays per game, and some of those guys are on all those special teams, and some of them it's a mixture. But we really take a lot of pride in those special teams, and hopefully our guys continue to believe that it's really important. So that was my little shout out to our special teams guys, and I'll come up with something next week with a shout out to a group of our players again. So Friday night, home for senior night with New Bremen at 7 o'clock.